Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, as usual, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about the voice, I am really sick, but there's a couple of books that I just read that I'm doing reviews on, and you probably guessed it by now, but it's obviously the Amazing Spider-Man issues, and in this time around, we're going to be talking about the Amazing Spider-Man issue 700.5. Now, like I said in my last review, I'm really enjoying these Spider-Man point issues because this brings back Peter Parker that we haven't seen in a very long time. It's been about a year. And, now that these stories are here, it's just very refreshing to see Peter and the Amazing Spider-Man and all his interactions with, his supporting cast and his friends and everything like that. So I really like the cover here. It's really like a movie type of cover, like based off of Amazing Spider-Man that you would see there. So interesting artwork in this particular issue in this story was really well done. This has Johnny Storm and the Fantastic Four within the issue. So this was a very well drawn book. I liked it. It had lots of humor in it. This was the issue that I was waiting for, the story that I was waiting for that really showed Peter Parker's humor. And when I read this book, it just I missed his humor so much, and this was great. Everything about it, the interactions between Johnny Storm, the interaction between Peter Parker, and with the Fantastic Four and Mary Jane. The book was written by Brian Reed and Chris Sotomayor. The pencils here were done by Sean Chen. Really great book. First off, the book opens up with Peter Parker exhausted. We seem to see a lot of that with the past couple issues. Every issue, he's tired and he wants to go to bed. But in this issue, you see him crash on the bed, and he's like, "Oh, bed, I love you, even with all your lumps." And the great thing is he's like, "Let's get some spectacular spider sleep." He's like, "Me and you," and it's awesome because you get to see a little picture of Mary Jane in here. So you obviously know that they're together, or they're still seeing each other, or they're dating or whatnot. Just as he falls asleep, you have Johnny Storm that comes knocking on the door, and he's like, "Johnny Storm!" So he freaks out, and there's this device that Johnny Storm has to protect from Reed Richards because otherwise, this device can implode the universe. So Peter Parker's like, "Oh God, it looks like I'm not going to sleep today, am I?" So the humor and the interactions in the dialogue in this issue was fantastic. And as Johnny Storm is explaining his story, he says that Ben Grimm from the future is the one that warned him about this whole thing. And he's like, "Everyone in the future wears beards. I wear beard. Ben wears beard. Reed wears beards." And it's like when he talks, when he when Johnny Storm talks about the story, it's like you have the dialogue of Johnny Storm talking to Ben Grimm as well. So he goes, "I asked him why he had a beard." And then he goes, "Well, why do you have a beard?" It's just great dialogue that added so much humor to this. Facial expressions were classic in here. Really a fun read about this story. But then in the end, it winds up being this whole prank, which you totally have to read to find out. But another great thing about this issue too was the interaction between Mary Jane and Peter and Johnny Storm. Because supposedly Johnny Storm hasn't seen Mary Jane for a very long time. It's like, whoa, if I got a hug like that, I would have come over a lot sooner, and everything that happened in this issue, it's like the world's about to implode and everything. It's like Mary Jane takes it so nonchalantly because she's seen it before. She's done it, she's experienced it, and that's what I loved about this issue. She's like, "Well, wait, don't go anybody. I'll get you drinks. Hang out here, and things like that." So, again, by the time you get to the end of the issue, it was a whole prank, and it was just a real fun read. And any Spider-Man fan or any Peter Parker fan is going to appreciate the humor that was here. Again, all those interactions between Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm playing pranks on each other is the way the Fantastic Four and their relationship is with each other, and it shows you how much Peter Parker is integrated into the Fantastic Four family, which was phenomenal. Um, the next story, the second story, it was so sad. The first story had great humor, and this one had Peter with held with such a heavy heart because he was in the line of duty trying to save this young boy, or trying to stop these bank robbers, and this young boy was got shot in the process trying to be a hero. And we can see that Mary Jane and Peter Parker are together in this issue as well, the way we like it. And I love how, Mary Jane in these issues is like his rock. It's like, you know, she's the go-to person he can talk to. And that's what I miss about Spider-Man. So this young boy, it was the one that, tried to be, got shot in the process. And Peter feels responsible. So he's, at his bedside, hoping that he wakes up. And what happens is the boy wakes up and he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, because he's like, why would you be here every day if you weren't Spider-Man? You feel responsible. And, the young boy winds up talking to Peter, saying that how he loved Spider-Man, how it was his hero, how he drew a comic book of him. And it was like, the moments before he died was so touching, and it was like that was the light that he saw his hero, and those were his last words to Peter Parker. And as we see that the boy is trying to be resuscitated through CPR, it doesn't really happen that way. He winds up dying, and Peter's at the funeral. The parents hand Peter something that was very important to their son, and it was the Spider-Man comic that he made when he was 11 years old. And it was a really sad story, and it was so touching. So this issue had lots of humor, and then it had a real heavy heart story here with a young boy. This was a very hard story for me to read, the second story, because I have a son, and if something happened to my son, it would mean my world would end. And it shows you how responsible that Peter really is as a superhero. He takes everything very seriously. And this book was, last week I said that um, that 700.2 issue was like the best book that I read for Spider-Man story. But after I read the news, I found out what happened with that issue. It's kind of erased that, and this book has overtaken that. This is the true Spider-Man book that I love out of all these point issues, and this was a perfect book for me. Has everything involved that you need as a Spider-Man fan. So I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. This was very well written by the writers and very well drawn, the way Spider-Man should be. And you don't need, you know, you don't need sometimes all these crazy bad guys or events or anything to tell a really great story. It's again, it's Spider-Man that's stripped down to what made Spider-Man such a relatable character, and that's why so many people love him. So, guys, that's all I have for you today. Please leave me your comments below on what you thought of the Amazing Spider-Man issue 700.5. And that's all I have for you guys. So, everyone, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. And thanks for watching, guys. Sorry about the cold. Take care. Bye.